Hey, this is Morning Perfect Base. This is week 54 of Morning Perfect Base. This is not contiguous weeks. This is the 27th episode. This is 27 episodes of me working a little bit every day on my perfect base and seeing how much progress I make after, I guess, a year. Today, however, I am not doing that. I'm going to go back to Perfect Base 3, and I'm going to get my Silk Pickaxe. Because I still have not moved everything over from the old Perfect Base in Megalopolis. So I made a stairway around here somewhere. In keeping with my new schedule, maybe it was this? It's kind of stair-shaped. In keeping with this is going to go up on a Wednesday. And this week I am going to cover Venezuela, a fantastic RPG aid, Bruce Campbell's new gig, Homophobia in Chicago, Dwarfs, and at the very end I'm going to have an actual call to action. So first off, let's start with Bolton's Venezuela plans. John Bolton, I don't know his actual title. He just hangs around conservative administrations. We're hawking it up. And now he's hawking intervention in Venezuela by accidentally, in inverted quotes, revealing a notepad with the words 5,000 troops to Colombia. I mean, he baited the media with a threat of military action in neighboring Venezuela. But what is up with Venezuela? I mean, Venezuela has been on this path for a while. 1999. Dude by the name of... one second. I don't think that door was here before. I'm going to go check the log of folks who've been on and see if... Nope. Alright. Wait. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So anyway... that's my Blaze Guy farm, and I say farm, they basically just roam as part of the Nether. Anyway, Hugo Chavez becomes president of Venezuela. He was a charismatic third-party candidate. He capitalized on loss of credibility by the country's two major parties to win the presidency. He was a open, unapologetic socialist. And he spent the next 14 years on nationalization, wealth redistribution. He even wrote a new constitution. As the meme goes, capitalists hate him. And what is this? Okay. That next chunk should have loaded. It should be totally loading. And then he got cancer in 2013. He died of cancer. And, yeah, let's throw something on. Is it real? Is it really there? Or is it just not showing? Oh, God, some Indiana Jones shit. Alright. Okay, I can see things. Okay. It's gonna be okay. He got some bad cancer, and he died in 2013. He weathered a number of strikes, presided over large inflation, while the nationalized oil industry's profits just disappeared. In the midst of corruption. He had just won a third term whenever he died. He did have a hand-picked successor, though. Oh, thank God. Nicolas Maduro, who was elected shortly thereafter. Maduro is no Chavez. He's not charismatic. He's actually kind of a douche. Actually, he's a totalitarian douche. The Venezuelan Socialist Party lost popularity, and then the price of oil dropped, so... This portal. I forget that all my portals are misaligned and I have not realigned them. So I'm just going to run through the dark and hope that I marked this trail clearly enough. So Maduro jailed opposition leaders. The opposition won control of the National Assembly. So the Supreme Tribunal, which is like the Supreme Court basically of Venezuela, they're loyal to Maduro, and they tried to strip away the powers of the National Assembly. There were a lot of protests, and that didn't happen. So, by presidential decree, using a state of emergency, if you're not having enough flashbacks as an American right now, he said that he would create the Constituent National Assembly, which is like the National Assembly, but loyal to Maduro, and better than the regular assembly. He just made a copy of a branch of government so that he could fill it with people loyal to him. He forbade some people from running for mayor in some mayoral races, and then whenever the opposition protested that, he banned some of them from running for the Constituent National Assembly seats. So let's see, what did he say? I think his exact quote is, the Constituent Assembly, which has the de facto power to write the Constitution. He swore he would oppose the opposition with the virtually unlimited powers of a Constituent Assembly. That is using the power of the government to benefit your party, and that is never acceptable. It's never acceptable. So he stripped the regular National Assembly of their powers. The Constituent Assembly wrote a new constitution. And then in the 2018 election, that's when he actually barred guys from running in the national election. So after the 2018 election, the still existing but mostly powerless National Assembly refused to recognize the result of the election and invoked a clause of the 1992 Constitution, Constitution 2, Electric Boogaloo, and they appointed Juan Guaido, National Assembly Speaker, as president. At that point, international recognition shit hit the fan. The U.S. et al. Recognized Guaido in Russia, China, Turkey, Cuba et al. Supported Maduro. So Maduro is shit, and he has abused his power just to stay in power in Venezuela while his people starve. It's a clear case of single-party ideological rule hurting the people, and the people in power just not giving a damn. Ordinary folks are actually starving right now. They call it the Maduro diet. So factoring into this in some part are the sanctions that the United States put on Venezuela in 2017. But that place was coming unraveled way before 2017. Getting rid of Maduro, who is a virtual dictator who rewrote the rules to keep his party in power, that's good. It's good to get rid of him. Recognition is one of those things that countries can do to lobby for change, to press for change in other countries, especially when those countries ignore and rewrite their own rules. It's bad, and us opposing them is bad. And I know some people are like, oh, it's imperialism. In that we, the United States, are a very strong country, and we're taking the same action as many other countries, even countries who are neighbors of Venezuela, but it just so happens that we're bigger than the rest of those guys. I know there are people who have this, again, just knee-jerk desire to oppose the Cheeto texture with an old banana's firmness in the White House, but we are the good guys here. It's... Okay, alright, the 5,000 troops. I mean, it's not imperialism until he sees the oil, right? Ugh. I gotta clear this path out to get out of here. They're not really crowding around me, I would think, that in the way that I think zombies would. But we'll have to see. Here's a really cool role-playing idea that I just happened across. It's from, I think it's a website called Gnome, and it is an index card RPG terrain system. I have a hard time setting up games, right? Physical terrain and maps are hard to work with. I bought those 4th edition tiles, and those things were great, high quality, good art. Just not very versatile, and then you have to transport them around. Also, they don't work for something with a grid. No, they don't work for non-grid systems like Fate, right? They work great for grids, for D&D, for movement, that kind of stuff. But not for Fate, where you use zones. You're just like, yeah, you're in that general zone. So, when I work with Roll20, I have to find image files, then pull accessories to kind of flesh them out, tables, chairs, etc. So somewhere around here, I actually made notes. One of the cool projects I had was I had notes to make sets, just like in Hollywood, for a lot of different places that you could run into in a role-playing game, and then to have different designs, so we can say, oh, look, here's a cave set. Oh, now it's a cathedral. And just have the basic sets, and then have a set stable props, basically, put in there to make it seem to fit naturally into the new type of use. I know that sounds like the thing I was bitching about with Roll20, but it is very different. It's something I could probably do via Roll20 to streamline the process. You just have a stable of sets and props. Regardless, I happened across this incredibly obvious Gnome Stew idea. Index card terrain, a group of themed index cards which can be strung together to create varied spaces for role-playing games, mostly D&D. The cards represent real physical space that can be roughly converted to the grid format, which is, I think it's like 2x3 or something. And they can still represent zones for more narrative systems. There are like $7 per bundle on DriveThruRPG, and that's a little high, but I consider a little high to be a fine price for a seller. I could make them myself, but each bundle is about 100 cards, and so just buying the thing is easier than that. Oh yeah, alright. So I teleported closer by using the gates, but I think I need to walk the rest of the way. Anything in here? Nope. It's me. Always just leaving the thing empty. Alright, let's go to Megalopolis and let's kick this pit. You can also use them to create random dungeons in case you and your players don't have access to enough roguelikes via the internet. Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell is apparently done with Ash. He said that before, something about not being 50 years old and playing Ash at a car wash, but after three seasons of Ash versus Evil Dead, we should be satisfied. It was such... None of us would have thought in our lives that we would get 3 seasons of an Ash continuation series, which was so faithful to the idea of the original films. I just feel very lucky that we get that. But it got canceled by Showtime, and people wanted Netflix to pick it up. And as Netflix sometimes does, because Netflix is just lulled random that way. But Bruce Campbell's like, no, dude, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And he just kind of shut the whole thing down because he doesn't want to play Ash anymore. Apparently, some part of that is that he is going to be in, I think Travel Channel is going to make 10 episodes of Ripley's Believe It or Not. And Bruce Campbell's going to be the host. I saw a little bit of the original. I think it was Jack Palance who did it. I kind of hope it lasts more than 1 season. I absolutely loved getting Bruce Campbell as a lead in a series that lasted more than 1 season. You remember Briscoe County Jr., Jack of All Trades, solid shows that knew what they were about, tons of fun, tragically cut short. Anyway, so I hope Ripley's Believe It or Not lasts for a while. Also, apparently they just lie on that. I thought Ripley's Believe It or Not was like, hey, whether you believe it or not, these things are true. But it turns out sometimes they just lie and they're like, believe it or not. And it's kind of like that Jonathan Frakes show that I talk about. That gives you like 2 true stories and a false one. Regardless. I do not know when the 3rd season is going to be on Netflix, but I am looking forward to it. I just like Bruce Campbell being in things. I like Bruce Campbell. He's a cool guy. My next one is about... Brown Dwarfs. I want to talk a little bit about science on a regular basis here. I am personally ashamed that I don't know more about stars. Like, there's only maybe a dozen star types and shit out there. And I get pulsars and quasars confused. There's no reason for a Star Trek guy with a physics background to get quasars and pulsars confused. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So the thing I'm talking about today is neither a star nor a quasar, nor a pulsar, nor a planet. It is a brown dwarf, which has a lot of mass, not enough to create fusion in its core, but enough to create low-level fusion. Not like a fusion chain reaction, which I believe causes the fusion of helium. It causes deuterium to turn into helium-3. Deuterium is just one proton and one neutron, and it makes it turn into helium with 2 protons and I believe 1 neutron. Anyway, so it's a very low-level fusion, and it actually dies out after a while. I don't know if it's fusion. I think it's just enough gravity that it forced things into the deuterium. I didn't do enough research for this, okay? But it eventually runs out of deuterium, and it goes cold because it doesn't have the same core heat that regular planets do. And I'm trying to find... I came here from my silk pickaxe. I have no idea where my silk fucking pickaxe is. Is it in one of these display cases? Nope. Bows. Slime balls, bow. More. All of those are mobs at the top. They're just different mob drops. Nope, not in here. Fucking hell. Okay. So, right, brown dwarfs. So, what they do, like what separates them from being just like shitty planets, is that they do have that fusion, but they also have, because they're so massive and yet so small, because stars push themselves back outwards with the fusion. What keeps them solid, what keeps them from getting any smaller, is what's called the degeneracy pressure, which is just super cool because that is like as dense as the galaxy can pack things. It's 50 times the mass of Jupiter, and it's the size of Jupiter. So they're pretty cool, and I'm not talking about Durkon or ethnic little people. Astronomical brown dwarfs. They're pretty cool. So, I'm going to play myself out by making some diamond pickaxe. I guess I'm just going to have to make one. So, I got to replace my helmet too, while I'm here by my whole diamond supply, and my chest, and my crafting tables, and my fucking, whatever, enchanting table. That's what it is, enchanting table. So... and what we got? Efficiency. God damn it. Alright, I want that. Alright, yeah, it's just whatever. Whatever on the helmet. I'm not picky about the helmet. Fucking efficiency again. Come on. Breaking efficiency. Nothing. No silk touch, guys. Come on. Let's just get a good level 3. I don't know. I don't know if I should get level 3 or level 1. But, just like for every time I enchant something, it re-rolls the dice on the RNG. So unbreaking, goddammit. I think that's even a worse unbreaking. God, alright, I have to enchant a couple books here, guys. Just to make it re-roll while I'm above. I'm actually going to go for the level 2 there. Fortune, fuck. Damn it. I thought I would at least roll Silk Touch, but no, I got Unbreaking 3. Because of course I did. God damn it. Come on. Come on. Anyway, I just cannot believe I don't know where I put my silk pickaxes. Are they here? No, of course not here. This is the green chest. I have no fucking clue why they would be anywhere. I'm just baffled. I'm really just baffled. I thought I would put them somewhere that I could remember them. And I guess I just fucking didn't. Anyway. It's frustrating, but I'm at 30 XP now, so that's not all I can do. I guess I can do one more. I can do one more enchantment that'll take me down to 27. I didn't think about that. So let me just organize these books. I always forget how these things are organized. I gotta do it every time. Because I've crammed together a lot of bow books just to... I've worked my way up from power 1 to power 4 before because fucking enchantments, man. So I think they finally took off the tax on on like multiple enchantment levels. Or at least they reduce it. I haven't really noticed it. Alright, I'm going to make one more pickaxe because I forgot I had one more in me. And we're going to see what we get here. Yeah, might as well wear that helmet. Anyway, I'm going to have to cover the rest of my topics next week. I think it's going to be real cool. Maybe. I might just write them out. I might just think a blog. Come on. Please give me Silk Touch. Come on. Do it. Nah, you fucking efficiency 4. God damn it. I have the nicest fucking pickaxes, but I don't know where they go. Alright, I'm going to get out of here. So until I get a good sign off, guys.